What's up, dudes? In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the ASYNC A1 Pro electric bike. What makes this e-bike stand out in the pack is it has a massive 48 volt, 40 amp hour, 1920 watt hour battery pack. And when you unlock everything into off-road mode, this thing will run 1200 watts nominal, 2500 watts peak. Now that's what I'm talking about. There are a variety of other interesting features on this bike, but I'm not just gonna sit here and read a spec sheet to you guys. Let's crack this thing open, take a closer look at everything, then take it out for a full review. Oops. We'll fix it later. There we go. Let's crack this thing open. And when you crack the box open, right away we can see this is not our typical e-bike. Dang, look at this styling in the rear light. The seat feels squishy. We gotta check the suspension out. Dude, this thing looks like a straight up motorcycle. Hold up. Actually, there's a much easier way to do this. Check it out. Nice. Don't fall over. Easiest bike opening ever. Right? Let's check this thing out. It comes with a set of keys. Looks like the front wheel's in here. And dude, look at this frame. Inside this section here, there's a monoshock hidden for the rear suspension, and the crank is actually concealed inside here too. Other than the appearance of it, part of this design is an IPX7 rating. Basically, this thing is pretty darn waterproof. Smart, editable taillight. Interesting, we'll have to try that. 21700 cells, aluminum body. And from what I've been reading, this seat's actually pretty comfortable. It's not just like a thin piece of foam set on top of metal. This thing actually goes deep down in there. It has like a lot of squish, I can tell. We get 20-inch wheels with 4-inch wide tires. There are 4-piston hydraulic brakes. And we'll come back and take a closer look at this hub motor in a few. But first, let's check what kind of rotors we get. Dude, 203 millimeter slotted rotors, pretty substantially larger than our typical 180s. I've got to say, man, these silver looking wheels just look clean. Check out this headlight. Dang, what a unique design. Let's get this out of here sensibly. I don't want to break anything today. This thing definitely has a little bit of weight to it. This is a relatively heavy bike at 123 pounds. And check it out, the Pro version of this bike has a belt drive. Where is the charger and stuff at though? There we go. Oh no, that's sitting on the rotor. Oh boy, no. Man, it's got a big battery pack. Don't want to break the screen. So it has an inverted fork for the front suspension, usually the more desirable of the two front fork styles. Check it out, the handlebars just kind of pop up here and looks like they just kind of set on here. Interesting. So before you set those on, you're gonna want to make sure you adjust your suspension how you want it. Oh, yeah. Nice. Wiggle, wiggle. And here's something I'm liking. Full twist throttle. None of that thumb throttle or quarter twist throttle baloney. Honestly, dude, I'm still wondering where the heck is the charger? Is it built into this thing? And right away, going to install the front wheel, we can see this is a much more solid build than a typical e-bike with this beefy front axle and the way it mounts. This is kind of more like a motorcycle. See if I can do this with one person. Probably shouldn't be trying this. Yeah, dude, unless I'm really doing something wrong here, I'd say probably best to have some sort of motorcycle stand. Come on, now. We got this, dude. Please don't tip. Okay. Oh. Okay, don't break. This is a terrible idea. This is either gonna be a horrible idea or a wonderful idea. Hey, how about that? Bike stand, please. Front wheel goes on like this. Like a Saran. Tighten this guy down. Then do these ones. All right, we're getting there. This build process is a little bit more involved than a typical e-bike. But you are getting a little bit more than a typical e-bike here. And I know you might be thinking that's a motorcycle, but you're wrong. This is a bicycle. Here are the bump stops. You want to call them bump stops. It's like a little padded material here. A lot of times bump stops we'll see built into the actual stanchion. Wires run into the frame and a pretty decent amount of travel here on the front fork. And you can adjust the tension on the belt if you need to. And that rear suspension is really hidden down in there. Looks like this rear light will kind of like rotate down. So the battery, the big battery is in there. And we'll power this thing on here in just a moment. Take a look at the screen. But here's the controls we get. Plus minus pedal assist mode, light, a lock button, whatever that is. Round rubber hand grips, they're thick. They feel nice to the touch. Horn is here on the right, and some pretty basic hydraulic brake levers that actually remind me a lot of the stock Sur-Ron brake levers.
Holy sh**.
I know, right? It's like a motorcycle.
Oh my, that's so futuristic looking, that headlight and this color and like that like cylinder looking body thing up there. Whoa.
Riding position looks like it'll actually be pretty comfortable. Handlebars are kind of like they come up decent in proportion to the saddle height. Seat height and handlebar height are obviously locked in place. The stock bars that come on it have a little bit of a curve to them, which you can adjust down there, and is a dual crown fork. What do you think of it?
Option times.
Check it out. You gotta put the key in down here, I think. Oh shoot, no, no, that totally popped the back open. Okay, that explains a lot. I think we need to plug in the battery. Take it out. Dang, that is a battery. So it's got a nice little handle on it in the case you need to carry it. Listed as a 39.2 amp hour, 46.8 volt. I don't know why they have 46.8, basically 48 volt. 1834.5 watt hours listed. Fillion, and it is IPX7 rated for waterproofing. Protection from immersion in water for up to 30 minutes, 3 feet deep. Dang, that is some waterproofness. See how charged it is, like half. And there's the connector port you get. What else is in there? Nothing. But right here with the hatch down, we can see that the seat does have like quite a bit of squish to it. Probably plug this in if we want it to work. Let's try it on now. There we go. Lights turned on. Screen's turning on. Nice. Color screen. Beautiful display. What has the day of the week on there? Monday? No, it's not Monday. Is that a GPS? Wi-Fi? So battery is 57% charged right now. Try out some of the buttons here. Oh, so you can change it from class 1 to class 2, class 3, and then how do we get to off-road mode? We need all the power. Headlight button. So headlight will auto dim the screen. It's a decent brightness to it. You can't rotate it up and down at all. It's just set in place wherever it points, it points. Rear taillight is really cool looking. It's got some sort of like wave effect going on there. Pretty neat. Is it a brake light? Yes, bright brake light. And it gives you an estimated range left depending on class. So class 1, that'd be 92 miles. Class 3 would only be 78 miles. I doubt I'll be seeing those numbers, but we'll give it a try. Yo, I'm gonna try the horn. You guys ready for this? Pedal assist 3, full throttle, nothing. All right, let's see what this thing feels like to sit on. So suspension actually feels pretty good. And I have an inseam of 34, I'm 6'5". So here's what I look like on this bike. I can tell it's gonna be one of those, you know, awkward ones to pedal for a tall dude like myself. Decent standover height. I have plenty of room standing up on this thing. So despite it being a dual crown fork, you can turn the wheel pretty far, which is always welcome. Why isn't it working though? Check it out. Here's how you unlock the off-road mode. Hold the menu button and the plus button. Boom. Oh, there we go. That's some decent power. Speedometer will go to... Here's a closer look at the motor. It's listed as 1200 watt nominal. What'd they say, 2500 watt peak? All right, dudes, about to take the ASYNC A1 Pro out for a ride. There is an app. I'll show you guys that later. It's not quite available for me to download right now. Good news is the charger did arrive. Came in a separate box in the mail. And it's a little bit interesting. You actually have to open up this rear section to charge it. Turn that on. Close that up, and let's check the tire pressure real quick. Oh, other thing is I talked with Alex at ASYNC, and this is actually the prototype from the Electrify Expo. I did notice it had a few little scuffs here and there, so it did get beat up a little bit at the Expo. And if you order this bike online, you will get the charger shipped with the bike. So technically this is a prototype version, but the final version will be pretty much this. There might be a few small differences. Tires call for a max of 30 PSI. They're sitting at 17. We'll do 25. So let's swing a leg over this thing and get on out of here. Yeah. Whoa. This thing's got some power. Oh, I was so excited to leave, I almost forgot to start the Strava to track our distance. And of course, the first test we're gonna do is run it up to 20% grade under throttle only. I weigh 200 pounds and we have it in off-road mode right now, so I can use the throttle. I'm honestly a little afraid to go full throttle on this thing, but let's just kind of ease on it. I can tell this thing's got a lot of power. Okay. Yeah, it's pulling us up to 20% grade, full throttle. Motor makes a little bit of noise, I'm noticing. Just sounds like it's got some power to it, man. Hydraulic brakes feel good. All right, so from a dig here, I wish it gave us power output, but full throttle, ready, go. Oh yeah, it eases on the power a little bit, but it's got strong torque. It's 2,500 watts of peak power output, bringing us straight up to 20% grade, no problem. Throw my shades on. Oh, bummer, dude. It blocks out the screen. The polarized lenses removes your ability to see the screen. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Just don't ride your bike with polarized lenses. And this thing rides nice, man. This feels like a very nice riding bike. So I honestly don't know how the pedal assist modes work here, but I'm gonna put it on down to mode number 1 here. And this is a belt drive electric bike, so there are absolutely no gears on this thing. Oh, and it gives you some pedal assistance. The ratio, you can tell the gear ratio on this thing is kind of meant just to get you started. Now, as I mentioned, this is a prototype model. I don't know what the final gear ratio on this bike will be, or if you have the ability to change that at all. But I'm already ghost pedaling, going 14 miles an hour. So like if you come to a stop at a stop sign here, which I'm at a stop sign, if you press on that pedal, oh yeah, you can feel the power kick on and then ramp up. And at about 9 miles an hour, I'm already turning my legs too fast. So, the pedaling's pretty much just to get you started, it seems. So that is class 1 mode. Let's bump it on to class 2 mode here. And I can't really tell a difference. The throttle works on class 2 mode. Let's put on class 1 mode. Throttle does not work on class 1 mode, so that is a difference. However, stopped on class 1 mode, no throttle. Class 2 mode, no throttle. So you gotta do pedal assist, and it kicks on like pretty much as soon as you start pedaling. It is a cadence sensor, so the power delivery is independent of how hard you're pedaling or whether you're actually putting power down. So I'm just like rotating my legs right now and not actually pedaling, but it's giving me power up to 19, 20 miles an hour. So that is a class 2 e-bike. They should only help you up to 20 miles an hour. And then also class 2 e-bike, if you use throttle, it should also only take you up to 20 miles an hour, which this bike does. It's stopping us at 19. Now let's try class 3 mode. So now pedaling, what will it do for pedaling? It'll bring us beyond 20 miles an hour, up to 23, 24, probably 28. And how does the throttle work on class 3 mode? Technically, class 3 throttle mode should take us up to 20. It's not doing anything so no throttle on class 3 mode. Let's just put it back to 2 here so we can use some throttle up to this light. We're gonna miss it. So very first impressions on this bike. I love that it's a full throttle. This thing's very comfortable to be on, despite what you might think looking at this seat. This is a comfy seat, and it is full suspension. Even though you can't see that rear suspension, it is built in there, and the monoshock on there feels nice, man. This thing's got a little bit of bounce to it, and it just feels like a little mini motorcycle. Like I mentioned, probably like a nicer riding Onyx RCR, honestly. I did get in here and change the settings here. So the time and date is correct on here, which is awesome. And then it gives us a battery percentage readout, so showing 98% charge. Now the charger they sent me on this bike was a 3 amp charger, and this is a 40 amp battery. So in the final production version of this bike, I would like to see a larger charger. 3 amps is a bit small for 40, because if you divide it by 40 by 3, that's how long it would take you to charge this battery from empty to full. Other observations are, once I take these polarized glasses off, this screen is actually very bright and easy to read. It's just the polarized lens portion that kind of filters it out for some reason. I don't think there's any differences in the power delivery from mode to mode on class 1, 2, or 3. And you can probably hear a little bit of, rattling and a little bit of motor noise. As I mentioned, this is a prototype e-bike that was used at the Electrify Expo. And I don't know if you guys ever been to one of those Electrify Expos, but dude, the bikes get beat to all heck at those events. People are crashing them. They're a blast, but the bikes get beat up. Going over these bumps though, man, this bike honestly rides much better than I would have thought looking at it. And you can tell this thing's got some mass to it. This thing weighs like, what was 123 pounds, I believe. It's got a little bit of weight to it. That's what you get with a big battery, full suspension, all the bells and whistles. All right, we got to get this thing in off-road mode. But I think it's this middle button and the plus. Yeah, off-road. Now, I don't know if this speedometer is correct or not, but we're gonna get out here and, oh, sorry, man, jaywalking. What the heck, dude? That guy just like straight up ran out in front of traffic. So full throttle here. We're going 25, 26, 28, 30, 32, 33, 34, 35, and it's cutting us off. Speedometer is jumping around a little bit on this prototype model, but it's holding us at 34, and it feels stable as all heck. Yeah, this thing feels like a little mini motorcycle. Like it feels nice, man. I'm liking this bike. So the brakes, fortunately, are good. I don't know what the heck happened back there. I was totally expecting that guy to like walk down the bike lane, and then he just cuts out in traffic. What the heck was that? Whew. Well, now that we are in off-road mode, there really is no going back. Once you start to feel this 2,500 watts of peak power output, and you can feel this bike's a little bit top heavy with the 40 amp hour battery pack. You're basically sitting on it, mounted up here a little higher. Look at the rolls. You know, as I'm cruising along here, I'm realizing one thing I really like about the seat is the width of it. A lot of times on these moped style e-bikes, the saddles are relatively narrow, and they're just really not that great to sit on for a long period of time. So we'll pull out the GPS here. I weigh 200 pounds. We're gonna do 0 to whatever. Ready, go. So it eases on the power and accelerates relatively quickly. 15, 20, pretty much. 25. All right, I'm gonna let off this a little faster here. So this bike feels powerful. So now in off-road mode, you have access to all your power just with the twist of a throttle, or you can kind of just ghost pedal. Like I'm literally not even pedaling here at all. Just kind of, you know, rotating that cadence sensor, and my goodness, dude, this thing freaking cooks. And the suspension, the monoshock on the back in unison with this seat is just gliding right over these bumps, these imperfections here, no problem. I can't even see the speedometer right now because I have my shades on. This thing feels plenty darn powerful. Just eating this hill for breakfast. Oh man, this thing is fun. And yeah, brake levers again. Just the levers, I don't like the feel of them on my fingers, but the actual braking power is excellent. So despite this being a 48 volt bike, it's going a little bit faster than a typical 48 volt bike. Like right up here, this bike is a pretty popular bike. I know it's in the same price range of this. I think that one might actually be a little bit more expensive. And I'm pretty sure it's 48 volts, but this thing is just gonna whip right on past this thing, man. Woo! Now running that kind of power, you know, it is a 48 volt, 40 amp hour battery pack, which is big, and you can get some significant range out of a battery pack this big. But for me personally, riding a bike like this, it's just pretty darn addicting to make use of that power, especially when I know I'm not going to be running a long route. I mean, might as well just use up all the battery and have fun, because when we get home, we can just plug it in and charge it for free anyway. I mean, technically not free. It'd probably cost you about 20 cents to charge this battery up. My goodness, dude, this thing rides nice. Oh yeah, we're going to check the speedometer accuracy. So cruising at a steady 19. It's showing 19 on both, 20 on both, so pick it up a little bit more. 24, 24. Yeah, it's accurate speedometer. So this thing does indeed go 35 miles an hour. That's impressive for a single motor 48 volts electric bicycle. This thing must have a pretty high amperage output controller in order to hit these sort of speeds. I did not see the amperage of the controller listed anywhere, but it must be up there, man. Maybe ballpark 40 amp, 35 amp controller? I don't know. Let's talk about the cadence sensor lag. So not pedaling, power. Not pedaling, power. So one thing I do want to talk about the cadence sensor is I have been on an electric bike similar style to this, high power electric bike, and the cadence sensor, like if you just like moved your feet like just a little tiny bit in any direction, like it would instantly give you like all the power, and it was a very jolting experience. This one is not like that. This one is like nice and predictable. Like if you move your feet just a little bit like this, like it's not going to kick on you, but like it can tell like when you actually want to power and you start pedaling, like, you know, within about a tenth of a second, a quarter second, you're getting all the power. So for a cadence sensor style electric bike, I'd say this one is good. And then throttle response, tiny lag on there, but yeah, you get your power pretty quickly. So I wonder if it can go out there in the sand. I feel a little guilty about riding this out there, but you know, this is an IPX7 rated electric bike, so this one is particularly waterproof. As I mentioned in the unboxing part, the battery is actually rated to be able to put underwater 3 feet deep, I believe it said, for 30 minutes. So for an e-bike, you know, that's pretty darn waterproof. If you live in like a rainy climate, this might be a good option for you. And then to talk about the low maintenance aspect of this bike, all that suspension and everything is kind of, oh, somebody dropped their glasses. All that suspension is like integrated into whatever you want to call this tube thing underneath here that encloses the rear suspension and the crank. And then it's a belt drive, so that's really going to help keep your maintenance down. Belt drives, you know, they're just less maintenance than chain drive bikes. You don't got to worry about cleaning the sprocket, cleaning the chain, and all that stuff. The downside of the belt drive is you don't get the gears, but you know, lower maintenance. On a bike like this that you have this much power, I mean, we saw how it did on the hill climb. I don't know if you really need gears, man. You have like the twist throttle right here, so you got all that power on demand. You know, if we're gonna be honest, this thing is pretty much, you know, a little mini electric motorcycle more than a bicycle. But the nice part is, you know, you don't need license and registration and all that stuff. You can kind of just fly under the radar, likely wherever it is you're riding this thing. But technically, if you do unlock that off-road mode, you know, 2,500 watts is above and beyond the 750 watt limit. Other things touching on the comfort of this bike, I actually like this part you can kind of hug your legs up against. Like it's comfortable to put your legs up against there. That cannot be said for like every bike I've ridden. It's not always like, you know, comfortable to put your bare legs with, you know, shorts on up against a surface like this on a bike. Can it wheelie? I don't know if I'm ready for all that. So typically on a bike that you want to wheelie, you're going to want to have access to the back brake. So in the case you get back too far, you can pull the brake and bring it back down. Oh, supermoto. Maybe that'll fly under the radar out here. But as I was saying, on a motorcycle setup, typically what you get is this lever will lock the back brake, pull the back brake. On this bike, however, this is the front brake. So if you're trying to wheelie, it might be kind of hard to operate the throttle and rear brake at the same time to balance the wheelie. And unfortunately, I think I have a flat tire. This is not good. Y'all, this thing is definitely flat. Bummer, dude. We'll get it fixed real quick. And yeah, dude, that got real bad real quick there. It's let's walk it like this, man, because it's got some weight to it. Now we're getting to practice some wheelies. Everybody's just looking at me. Ugh. Dude, I drop this thing down. I don't want it to come down hard and like break it. Nice and gentle. Do you guys have some like tire sealant I can buy to repair a flat? It's $3 I think for this one. This is the Pro model. They make a cheaper one, yeah.
How are they? Like the suspension is cool?
It's great, man.
If you have flat tires, you can get them on any bike.
Yeah, it's not the bike. I don't know what happened.
They just look cool too.
All right, Jay's here is hooking it up. $65 to get it done on the spot. All right, dude, it's been about an hour. Thanks, man. Did you put a new inner tube in it?
Yes.
Sure. Okay, awesome, perfect.
I think so. It's like a glass or something.
Oh, all right, so I ran something over. All right, thank you.
Okay, man.
All right, I appreciate you. Seems like he knows what he's doing. Hopefully that wheel's on there nice and good. Let's roll. Dude's ripping some wheelies. Yeah. Oh, what's up, dude?
I've been actually watching your videos a lot.
Have you really? Nice,
really
man. Are you serious?
Yeah.
How you liking it? Popos are out on the 1 horsepower. I heard they're actually 15 horsepower, somebody told me. You got your kickstand down, just to let you know. I really feel very guilty about trying this, but we gotta do it for the video. We're gonna try it on the sand. Cruising along here, the full suspension in this seat, man, this thing is butter just cruising along here. Like, this thing just feels like it was meant to eat this stuff up. So we got the shorter 20-inch wheels, but we got tons of power on tap. Let's see how we do. Oh yeah. Well, maybe, giving it full power here. It's, thanks, man. It's just feeling too heavy. Like I gotta kind of put my feet down and waddle along a little bit here to get through the thick sand here. So probably not your number one option for, you know, once we get down here to the more hard packed stuff, I think we'll be doing just fine. And with the IPX7 rating, dude, I am a little tempted to go ride out there. I don't know if this thing's straight up designed to be, you know, ridden in the ocean, but it is IPX7 rated, which is pretty darn high for you know, e-bikes or any electric, whatever you want to call them. Let's see what kind of torque we got going up this hill. So the wheels are 20-inch wheels, so it's not really wanting to go straight riding up that. I don't know what PSI the dude put in the front tire, but yeah, it's you know, making it through this decently. I'd say about above average. I don't know, it's like once you start getting it going kind of slow, it doesn't want to power through quite as good anymore. Oh, I feel guilty about how hard I'm pushing this motor. Yeah, I'm gonna call it quits here. Oh, we got a truck coming. We got to get out of the path here. We're about to get ran over. It's got plenty of torque. All right, maybe I'll hop back on. Oh, push off, go. This is really putting this motor and controller to the test. We'll see if it holds up and doesn't like overheat on us and power down or something. I wish it would show me how much power it's giving. All right, let's pop back on here and straight on full throttle again. Hopping straight back out here though, full throttle. We're not gonna take it easy on the controller. We'll see how well this thing holds up. Let's go ahead and pop off here and give it a rip up this hill. Just see how it does, rolling in about 9 and then full throttle. And 12 miles an hour, 13 miles an hour, it feels like it's accelerating, 14 miles an hour, so pretty much accelerating straight up this hill. So climbs hills pretty darn well, doesn't ride in the sand that great. If you're wondering what that little clunk clunk sound is, the headlight wasn't screwed on all the way by whoever assembled this bike, or maybe it loosened up over time. Had I built this bike from scratch. So the rattling is the headlight. It's basically just these bolts down here. This whole thing is just a little loose. We'll give it the tail heavy treatment. Much better. The acrobats are out today. This, wow, look at that. Yeah, this is the ASYNC A1 Pro. Oh, dude, the mailman comes right up here to these people's front door and delivers mail. All right, dudes, let's see how it does on the California Incline. Ugh, when you sit down on this thing, make sure you hit the seat and not here though. I mean, it's a comfy bike as long as you're sitting on the seat. All right, let's hit the little loop-de-loop here. Starting from a pretty slow speed due to not being able to enter quicker. Plenty of torque getting up here. Oh, we got a bike coming. Careful, careful. Yeah, I mean, it's fairly torquey for climbing hills. Like this, accelerating straight up this, you know, 12 miles an hour. Out California Incline, full throttle here from the bottom. 15, 20, 23, 25, and still pulling 26, maybe. We might have been able to hit 27. I'm not gonna push it though. And for those of you new here, we were just down there on the bike path. So running down the California Incline into a headwind downhill, I mean, it's gonna top out at 35 just because that's where the motor takes us to. And it cuts you off electronically, but we better not go too fast. We got people here. Man, this thing is thrilling when you start hitting those higher speeds though. Now's the time when an e-bike comes in handy. Oh yeah, all throttle, baby. So quick little brake test from 20, which shouldn't take us too long to get to 20. Give them a pull here. Ever since I locked up one at the front wheel one time and almost threw myself off the bike, I'm a little hesitant. But these hydraulic brakes feel, they have good stopping power. They feel linear, they feel nice to stop. It's really just the levers. I don't love the levers on this, so it'd be great to see some different levers on there. So what do we got here? Back brake. Yeah, I mean, they stop the bike very nice. They've got all the stopping power you would want or need. These are just kind of a little sharp. They don't feel that great to grab. All right, dudes, final thoughts on the ASYNC A1 Pro. Obviously, the biggest thing about this thing is, do you like the look of it? Personally, I think it looks pretty stylish, and I've got stopped by like 7 people today telling me how cool it looks. In the silver and black combination, I mean, it's just like nothing else out there, really. I think it looks good, but more importantly, it rides nice. The seat is really comfortable. It's got the monoshock built in there, so it is full suspension with the inverted front fork. I mean, this thing just rides like a motorcycle, really. Got a little bit of weight to it with that big 48 volt volt 40 amp hour battery pack. So you're gonna get some significant range on this thing, which we'll see what kind of range I get today here in a few. And obviously that big 1200 watt continuous output motor, 2500 watts peak will take you up to 35 miles an hour pretty easily. But probably more importantly, it'll hold you at relatively high speeds for quite a while. You know, 25 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour consistently for a long period of time would be no question on this bike. And since you do have the big battery pack, you can do that without, you know, completely running out of juice. Another thing I like about this is they didn't go too big on the battery pack. Once you start getting up to like a 60 amp hour battery pack, you can really feel the mass of that battery. Not to say that this is a light bike, but you know, I think 40 amp hours is good on this bike, the way it handles and rides. I guess the other big thing would be price. You know, it's listed at 3,500 bucks, but it is on sale right now for 3,150. Any other discount I can provide you will be linked down in the description box below this video. Of course, if you did buy through that link, it would help support my reviews here at Tail Heavy TV. Well, let's head on home and see what kind of final range we get out of this bike. All right, dude, 73% left on the battery. Let's see what it's got left in it here. Full throttle, off-road mode. Tesla took us hitting 30. GPS in the left hand. This thing's cooking, and I can feel the motors like tapering off. It'll let you hit about 34, and it just holds you at 34. I wish it gave us a power output so we could see how much power it's actually giving us, but no problem holding this at 73% battery. Fast bike. I'll repeat my emphasis. The big difference between this bike and a lot of bikes I review is like when you're going 20, 25, hit the throttle, you still got power. It is fast enough to pass traffic, nimble enough to kind of work our way through here like a motorcycle. Yeah, buddy. Ciao, we got a Mustang. If you're looking for something to replace your car, well, commuter, I mean, this battery pack, we're at, what, 70% now. Easy to read there, too. It's a pretty nice little traffic hack. Fast enough to get out here and ride on the fast roads a little bit. Powerful enough to launch it off the start, keep up with cars, and comfy enough to sit on for a long time. Right, so today we ran the pretty typical 18.4 mile route, hour and 46 minute ride time, showing 67% on the battery, and that was with a 200-pound dude not pedaling this thing whatsoever, going off-road mode only all day, and throttle only, pretty much, you know, ripping it. So pretty much use about a third of the battery in about 18.5 miles. So realistically, ripping on it like this, you know, I'd say I'd get at least 60 miles out of it, you know, just absolutely using it like a motorcycle. If you go a little bit slower, obviously you're going to get significantly more range. I forget the exact range claims. So overall, I think it's a great bike, and if you do want to grab one, click the link below this video. Buy through that link in the description box, and it would help support my reviews here on Tail Happy TV. However, if this is not the kind of bike you're looking for, you can watch this video next. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next time.